Today is December 28th, 2001. And that's Jeffrey.
Jeff.
You heard.
Jeff.
This is a instructional video
Come here.
on one of the many methods of how to make homemade raviolis and the ingredients that you use. You would naturally, as time goes on, vary the recipe and fluids your palate would direct you to change it accordingly. But this is one of the methods that has been approved by many, and this is the best at going for 2001. 2002, who knows what's going to take place, and etc. Okay, so we'll start out with the ingredients for the pasta dough. This is any pasta dough. You can use it for raviolis or regular pasta. This is you could zoom in on that, Stephen. You got it?
Read it. 4 cups of
Semolina flour. I forgot to put the word flour, but 4 cups of semolina flour, 4 large eggs, and I like the eggs at room temperature, and you have 4 tablespoons of olive oil. You can use vegetable oil if you like, and 1/2 cup of water. That's the ingredients. Semolina flour, very flexible, hard to hold.
let's see here. Here's the label. Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay, and these are 4 eggs here. These are room temperature. The consistency mixes better. That's my assistant over here, David, by the way. Alright, and Steve's behind
There's
us.
one of the eggs.
Okay. He's gonna have to break them. On the flour, you could use all-purpose flour if you want. However, you're gonna find difficulty when you cook the little raviolis. They have a tendency to break, and naturally you don't want your raviolis to break because it really makes a mess and you don't get the filling, and all you're eating is regular pasta. You go that route, you might as well make regular pasta and not fill the little things, or big things in my case. Okay, so we're going to stop right now and make the dough, and we'll take it up in about 2 minutes while I go to stage 2 and show you how we make the dough in the new millennium. This is not the 30s or 40s like great grandma used to make. This is the way it's made now, and I find it's much easier, and I don't think you can taste the difference, but it saves you about 2 to 3 hours of work, at least the way I would do it. And it takes only about maybe 30 minutes to mix the dough, and there's certain techniques you do have to let it rest and mix it properly, the right consistency, and you really get the feel of the dough, and we'll show you a little bit later on during the tape. Okay, so we'll stop the tape now and go on to the second of actually doing the mixing, and I don't want you to be surprised of how we're going to make the dough. That's it. Stop the tape.
Okay, we'll be back.
Okay, now we're ready to do the actual mixing for phase 1, which is preparing the pasta dough. My assistant here, this is a bread machine, as many of you could see, not to insult your intelligence, but it is a bread machine. And what I did is preheat the container, because I don't like to put cold flour or warm flour in a cold container, because the flour gets sort of irritated and decides it doesn't want to make good pasta. So we have everything at room temperature. Got it? Got it. Very simple. We put it in, and David, if you would cut the package open. And I said 4 cups. He is now cutting the package and dumping it in the measuring cup. See how the grains are very fine compared, it's not powdery as the all-purpose flour. Okay, just go ahead and dump the whole thing in there. Get every last morsel out. Great. Good. That's the one package. Then it's 4 cups. If you want to do some math, it says net weight 24 ounces or 1 pound 4 ounces. That equals 4 cups. And there is a basic recipe on the package for pasta dough. looks pretty close to mine. Very close. Except I use more water. Anyway, that's besides the point. Okay, David, if you would pour that into the bread machine. That's 4 cups. Okay, next thing we're going to do is add the eggs. If you crack the egg, remember the eggs are at room temperature. It mixes much better. I've learned this over the time period. Oh, we got a double yolk. Ooh, bummer. Just go ahead and put it in there.
Double yolk egg.
I consider that a sign of good luck.
Okay. And that one must be a bad luck egg because there's only 1 yolk.
Who's the assistant on that?
Now, another thing you could use instead of eggs is egg beaters. I have used egg beaters before. In the last one, and see if you would zoom in this. This works quite well too instead of the eggs, and I don't think you could really taste the difference. Go ahead and just stir those all up, break them up, and put them in the.
Just stirring.
This is just like TV. You have someone to clean up after you, huh?
I'm done with the eggs.
No, mix them up really well.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there. Perfect. More. You still got white stuff. Oh, the tape is on. I didn't know the tape was on. Okay. Yeah, mix it up really well. The pasta machine, the bread machine has several settings on it, and the setting that I use, plugged in, is the dough setting. And the only thing the machine does is knead the dough. That's it. You don't put it on bake, you don't put it on warm or anything else. But there's the dough setting, and the only thing it does is knead the dough. And so I'm going to start the machine now. I'm going to add the ingredients to it, and then we're going to wait until the dough is done and prepare the equipment for the making of the raviolis. So this is starting. Okay, you could go ahead and put that in, Dave. That's 4 room temperature eggs, and these are going to turn out even better because we had one with a double yolk. Oops. The next thing, we have an oops here. The next thing we're going to do is add 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And you could use veggie oil, corn oil. I prefer olive oil because it's more of an Italian flavor. That was 3. 1 more. 4 tablespoons. Okay, that's good. And next we need, David, is a 1/2 cup of water. Now we tried this several things. I tried several recipes with less water, more water. I found out a 1/2 cup for this recipe is perfect. So, I guess you might call it foolproof. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. And that's it. The machine is going to do the rest. It's in a slow agitation now. And before you know it, it's going to go zoom, 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 zoom really fast. And when it's done, we'll check it now and then. And in fact, I'm going to set it on the floor here so we don't have to disturb it. Now.
Alright, it's on the floor.
Okay, we could go ahead and stop the tape, and we're going to start now setting up for the making of the raviolis.
Just let it run.
I hate to do all this and have it not turn out.
Yeah.
What a bummer. Now the next trick is going to be to try and get it on the computer. You missed it, man.
I heard it. Here, I get to watch it on video.
You can get the DVD. This is Chris,
Hi.
David's wife, Chris,
Hey.
Jeffrey's mommy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's on. This a pasta board. This is a homemade pasta board. This is nothing but a 4x4 sheet of plywood, treated with olive oil. Dave, you want to grab that side? We're just going to lift it up and over. I keep the sheet on the bottom. I don't know if, Steve, you can get the side of it here. Let's go ahead and turn it this way. And I have a little 4x4 here, so it goes against the countertop so it doesn't slide off.
Ah.
Let's go like this, like that, and then Nancy doesn't get upset or on me because I'm not scratched the corian. This is just plywood treated. You can see all the little marks of all the previous raviolis made.
For example, where's the mark?
Here. Right in here. That's just from going there. We'll now get my little,
Oh yeah, you can really see the marks.
this is my pasta bin. And what we'll do is take stuff out and show you. This little gem here is what we wrap up in wax, wax paper and set the raviolis on. We'll get to that later on in our video. This stuff is all thrown in here. This is a pasta dryer, which when we have leftover pasta, we definitely do not want to throw it out. We put it through the machine and make spaghetti or linguine or whatever with it. And this is the mainstay. This is an Atlas pasta machine. Now, this one, does work with a crank. However, again, going back, this is modern times, we found a better way of doing it, which is not so laborious. This comes with another attachment for, this makes your dough into sheets, and you get the sheets of your dough, and you put it on here, and you run it through this, and you turn the crank, and you come out with either the flat pasta or the spaghetti. We'll get to this later. Okay. The pasta bread machine is now going into a full mode, whereas it is actually mixing the dough up. Can you zoom in on this, Stephen?
Tilt
Doesn't look very good right now,
You want to
but,
tilt it forward? Tilt it this way?
Tilt it that way. Okay. You can see how it's sort of crumbling. Well, eventually it'll go around and come to a nice, smooth satin ball. Which you can feel it, and you have to get the feel of this stuff. It comes with time. All right, next. This is the little gem that saves you lots and lots of time. This is an electric motor.
As opposed to?
As opposed to the crank. It goes in here. When you find the right slots.
It's called progress. As opposed to cheating.
There you go. It fits right in there. This stabilizes it. You do need electricity, so I don't think you have a problem nowadays. And we have power.
Voila.
We'll show you how this works. Other little aids you might need. Flat scraper. This little gem gives me the exact width of the ravioli. You get your sheets of pasta, put it down, and you go. And you take your 2 strips and you recycle those. You don't throw them out. This is food. You're going to need a crimper. One side is straight edge, other side crimped. And you go. We'll show you how that works. You need a paintbrush or a pastry brush, excuse me, for getting a little extra touch for assurance that the ravioli seal. And that's it. This is the way I make them. There's several ways you could do it. my mother gave me this little gem. You can make them with a what they call a ravioli maker. This is a template. You get your sheet of pasta from your machine, lay it over here. You put this on the dough, push it down, make a little hole, and you put your filling in there. Put another sheet of pasta over it, and then you get a rolling pin, and you roll it across, and it crimps it, the edges. Then you have to turn it upside down and break them apart. Should you like this method? I find out the raviolis are just a little bit smaller than I prefer to eat. I mean, I go for the big ones, super size, super size and all that stuff. Okay, I probably could stop it. The machine itself has another template. If I can get to it. This is a lasagna plate, and then if you want little itsy beanie raviolis, it has a ravioli maker. And that fits on here, just like this, and you plug this into here, and it has a little, it turns around, and 2 sheets of pasta dough, then you put the filling in there, it makes them automatically, but you get little baby raviolis, not even enough for Jeffrey to eat. So we want raviolis, we don't want little, Chef Boyardee, nothing against them, but just not enough for hearty appetite. And that's about it for the equipment, not much, heavy duty, first class. Okay. I haven't used that at all.
Pause.
Okay, let's go back. Let's go look at the pasta dough and see how much of a ball it's turning into. You ready, Steve? Remember, this is just on the dough setting.
So how long has it been? About 5 minutes? Wow.
Yeah, see? And if you want to be a little conscious, sometimes the side of the pan gets dough on it. You could just put it down, and the machine pick it up. So, just wait. You like that, Jeffrey? Yes. Smile. Okay.
No, Jeffrey. No, Jeffrey.
Don't touch the body.
He's gonna turn it off.
Come here.
All right. Now, we on again?
Yeah.
Okay. It's only a 2-hour tape, so.
Oh.
We're going to go and get the stuff to make the filling of the raviolis.
Okay.
This is, again, to your taste.
Action.
Okay, we're going to mix the ingredients for the, wow, I never wrote it down for you.
Okay,
How's your
pause.
handwriting? It's better than mine? Okay. I'll tell you what they are. David will write them down. I thought I had another sheet of paper over here. David's going to write the ingredients down. Maybe want to write it down on this a little bit through. We start out with, now this is a recipe for filling, and again, you're judgmental. 2 pounds of, as they say in English, ricotta cheese. If you're in Italy, it's ricotta. Right? This is a half of recipe actually. To make the full recipe, you use the full 2 pounds. Put that in there. Get that out of the way. We use the finest mozzarella. I buy the mozzarella already shredded. And you put in as much as you want. You like mozzarella, you add more mozzarella. You like ricotta, you add more ricotta. Or you like parmesan, you add more parmesan. So if you're looking for guidance of how much, hey, you figure 2 cups of everything. This is Parmesan. Again, I buy it already shredded. You don't have to. You could buy it unshredded and do it yourself. Got it? Okay, and we just dump what we think would be enough, and that. Okay, and if you, what we're going to do is add some Romano cheese to it, but we're going to have, because I didn't buy it shredded, I'm going to shred it and put it in here. One of the ways that it works very easily, and I don't know if I'm going to have enough, I guess, is a salad shooter. We simply put a couple of sticks in there. And these things work great. Turn it on. And that's it. Now to this, we're going to add 2 eggs. 2 eggs should be sufficient. And if you would stop the tape now, I'll go ahead and get the... Okay, the same as with the dough, you get your eggs. Again, you can use egg beaters if you want. If you want to add 4 eggs, yeah, you go for it. Just sort of makes it stick together.
No, Jeffrey.
And I use one of these little mashers to...
No, Jeffrey.
And keep going like this until you get it all mixed up. So you can probably go ahead and stop the tape now and then.
Okay.
Okay, this is still mixing. However, based on the time element of the dough, you should always wash your hands, by the way, so they say. We're going to check the dough in the bread machine, and I'm looking at it. It's a little round ball, so I'm going to reach in there and pull it out and see if I can get the feel for it. There you go. See? And that feels good. Just about right. You don't want to overwork it. Now I would call this just about perfect. So what I'm going to do is put it in a bowl, and it has to rest, is what it has to do. Put it in here, and get a clean towel, wet the towel. Bring it out, wet the towel, and you drape it over so it doesn't dry out as much. You're going to get some dry. I'm going to just set it aside. If you want to give it a little pat or a little kiss, that's okay. But you can feel it. It's satin. Really satin. And we'll shut our bread machine off because we're all finished with the bread machine. And we can stop our noise pollution. We'll go back to mixing the filling. Looking at the consistency, I think probably could use maybe another egg, because you want everything to get together. So Dave, if you would scramble up one more egg. There we go. This works good. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and stop the tape.
Okay.
Okay, this is just about all mixed. Again, on the ingredients, it's whatever you like. Whatever you favor more in the cheese, but ricotta, mozzarella, parmesan, romano, 2, 3, you want to add 4 eggs, go for it, or use egg beaters. You just mix it all up. It'll be, room a little bit cool, which is fine. You don't want it super cold. Like, don't forget you are dealing with raw eggs, so don't go munching on it.
What's the number sign mean?
That's 2 pounds.
Oh. It's not LBS?
Yeah. Okay, so this is set. This is just about all set. I'll probably put some saran wrap on this
Okay.
to cover it. Then the dough, by the way, is resting here. Let it rest 20 minutes, 30 minutes before we go. We're going to add 2 more ingredients to our mix, and this is nothing but a little bit of garlic salt. It's supposed to add salt, so I add garlic salt. And we'll put a little bit of parsley flakes, you know, put whatever you want. You want to put oregano or something, just give it a little bit of color and a little bit of taste. And people say, what's that green stuff in there? Oh, it's parsley. Not much, whatever. I like the cheese flavor. I don't like heavily spiced. And that's about it. We'll probably only make maybe 2, maybe 3 dozen raviolis, my size, with this. If you use the store ones, you could probably make 6 dozen or more for the machine. This is good because it's sticking really good. Okay, that's it. Let's put this down.
What are you doing, David? Customizing the flavor?
Yes, customizing.
David decided he wanted some more. He wanted some garlic powder. Okay,
Garlic. Freak.
which is fine. So we'll mix that all up. Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
recording.
Alright, we're going to go to our next step. We've made a few more preparations. The dough is still resting underneath its moisture cover and it's doing very good. It doesn't rise, it's not bread flour, there's no yeast in it. So don't expect it to get bigger. It's just resting. The dough needs to rest. You may, as you're making your raviolis, you may want to complement your making with maybe a glass of red wine. No, good. We're not doing a red wine this morning. Instead, we're doing a takeoff from Cafe Steve, and we're having fresh brewed Cuisinart coffee, Italian coffee, whatever you want to call it. Real strong coffee, and we all have our official mugs to drink it out of, and we need to get Steve in the picture. We've added a couple more utensils. There we go. Steve, well, you're kicking. We've added a couple more utensils. I've got some regular all-purpose flour. That's what it is, all-purpose flour, and a technique that I've learned within the last couple of weeks, a little sifter. They call this a 3-cup sifter. I don't know how you're going to get 3 cups of flour in that little thing. I'm missing something here. Okay. We added a very sharp knife, and we added a spatula so we can flip the raviolis. What we have here is when the raviolis are made, this is nothing but a sheet. I tried using 1/4-inch plywood and made little square sheets. Each sheet will hold 1 dozen of my raviolis. I covered each sheet with a sheet of wax paper. The wood itself is actually it's a new door skin you could buy at Osh or any supply place. I got the door skin because it's really thin, and I cut it into little rectangles. And that would do it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and stop the tape and start the process after we have a couple of sips of fine coffee of making the raviolis. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the first batch, and then I hope David's paying real close attention because he's going to make the second one. We'll see how they turn out. I'm just going to put a couple of teaspoons of flour in this, and I'm going to put it on the board so the raviolis don't stick. Number 1, just very, in fact, you could even a little bit too much. There we go, just a little bit, like Stephen does a cinnamon for a latte, just a bit. We set that aside, and we just a little bit. You don't want to do too much because the flour gets onto the. Again, make sure your hands are clean. Just a bit, just a little bit, not too much. You got it? Got it. Okay, put that there. Excess. And now we're ready to go through and do the cutting of the pasta. No, perfect. There we go. Get it loose. pan just a little bit, but so what, you know? It jumps right out at you. Feel that, that's smooth. Feel that, dude. Did yours turn out like that before? Sometimes if your hand sticks to it, you know, if you put your hand up and the dough sticks to it, hey, red.
So,
Very sharp knife.
So we get a moderately stiff dough, right?
And you could, look at that, isn't that beautiful? Cut it. Okay, now, put it back. Remember, we don't waste anything in this process. You put your pasta setting on number 1, the biggest one, number 1. You make 2 sheets, flatten it out. Don't put the whole ball in there because it's going to have a real difficult time. This is perfect, really good, perfect. Right there. Motor has 2 speeds. You want to go too fast, go too fast. Sometimes if your dough is not the right consistency, you put it on the fast speed. If this is such a good dough, you can put it on the slow setting. See how it's tapered? Just get the end, roll them over, pat it down gently. Okay.
I think the bowl's in the way.
This is in the way. How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So you pick it up. You send it through the number 1 setting again. And while it goes through, you put it number 2 setting now. Send it through again. You have to catch it before it comes out. As it comes out, don't let the pasta dough drag on the machine, because that's what happens. It drags on there, causes resistance, and then before you know it splits up, it bunches up, and you wind up you're going to have to redo it. And you do not want to overwork your pasta dough. Catch it as it comes out, feed it on the top. It's nothing like an instructional video. See how it's doing it? I don't know if you can zoom in on this. We don't want the pasta dragging on this side here. Okay, we're going to go to number 4 setting. And what I do is I rotate the pasta dough 180 degrees, like this. Now you're probably wondering, why did we rotate the pasta dough 180 degrees? As soon as I finish playing with this, I'll explain it to you. Look at that. Uh-oh. Okay. Gotta be fast. Gotta be fast. Okay, good. And we just step aside here. And set this down. And if you have an assistant, they can always shut off the pasta machine for you. There you go.
There you go.
I don't like to get it on too much of a bread flour dough, because you get more flour in the dough, and then throws the balance off. The reason why you rotate 180 degrees is because the way the sheet is made, there's a tolerance that's slightly smaller at one end down the other. So if you keep doing it the same way, one end of your pasta sheet is going to be thicker than the other end. So you just alternate it, and it comes out good. Now here's another little trick. This ravioli cutter. If you don't have one of these and you have a good eye, you can use something like this, and you could just you get this and you run it right down the center. You get the side strips, shake them out. Remember, we don't throw it away. We get it, we put it back in here. That is one sheet.
Walk around.
Now we're going to go and cut a second sheet. And again, it's a hit and miss. We want the second sheet to be longer than the first sheet. Some people say, well, you put too much filling in the raviolis, and that makes them, break open. Well, not really. And I'll show you how. Turn your machine on number 1 again. Do a little bit. Flatten out. Okay, you want to turn that on number 1. There you go. First time it goes through, the piece of cake. Looks like. Okay. few problems when you make it. Sometimes the dough becomes crunchy and you can see through it, won't see through properly because you have holes. You could probably see a little bit of pattern on this. Hey, no big deal. Get it. Watching carefully, Dave? Try to get faster than your hand crank. You can buy the motor at Williams Sonoma's or Crate and Barrel. When I purchased this one, it was only $40. Today's prices are up to $80. So you better go out and buy one now before the price goes up further. Again, put your hand around, flip it through, 180. It's going to be fun watching David do it. You got to work fast. You can't let it set because if it starts dragging on that plate, then nothing is lost. Perfect. Look at that. Look at number 3. And you stop at number 4 setting. So this one is, the longer they are, the more challenging it is to handle. You just flip it, but that's perfect texture. Going right through there. With experience, you know how to hold it, and yeah, I have problems sometimes it doesn't want to go through. Okay, we're on number 4, and as you tell, it's getting more challenge to handle, and you can actually feel it stretching. And by the time I finish with this one, I wish I didn't cut as much off. So this is good. And again, I'll explain to you why I'm making this larger than the first one. I hope the voice comes out of this. See, don't let it drag on the middle part. There you go. Perfect. Play with it a little bit. I put it. Okay, you can turn that off. See how much bigger that is than the first one? It's probably a bit too big. And then
Why do you cut the ends off?
just to make it flat.
Jeff.
And because there's not much flour on the ends, put it there like that. We don't waste anything. This will maybe make 9 ravioli. This is the base sheet. Again, Katie, you want to get that spring? We get this, we run this along. Right through. There we go. See? Perfect. Now, we put our filling in the refrigerator. Can't ask for anything better than that. What we do, David, if you could give me a tablespoon out of the drawer. Again, this part is going to be...
Say hello.
What?
I say hello to the mirror in the background.
Hi. Before we go any further, I need to take another sip of coffee here. You will have a problem when you make the raviolis with them sticking a little bit onto the wood, onto the pasta board, because of what you're going to be doing to it. That's okay. Are you ready? The filling. How big you want them? You want a little bit? Fine. You want a lot? Cool. Just a regular tablespoon, put it in the palm of your hand, and you make a little ball. Make a little ball. See? Put it all together, sticks in, put the little ball on that. Each one of these are handmade. Second one. Now how far do you space them? Put it like that, and I normally go, just like one hand in between, like that. The spacing is critical to the point that how much dough do you want with your raviolis. I don't like super dough with it, but I put some pasta dough. Put it together, get the air out, make one little ball. You watching, Dave?
I'm watching.
Okay, Dave's going to be done same thing like this. See? Then when you get down to the end, you find out that, well, gee, I need more filling. You could, wing it. This is good. This one's a little bit bigger than the other one. Leftover pasta dough, just run it through as plain pasta. You could freeze it if you want to. Again, now I'm working on an island here instead of a table. A countertop gives you about 4 inches more height, and it's much easier on the back. Okay, we're up to 5 on this one. So, why don't you go ahead and stop the camera now. We'll finish filling this up, and then we'll go to the second.
Alrighty.
Okay, I just washed my hands again from filling out this one. We wound up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Man, we're one shy of a dozen. Bummer. Wash my hands, and an old family tradition is you put your dish towel, or they call it mapin, over your left shoulder. Now, remember I told you we got one longer than the other? And the reason for that is we are going to put the edges together and just roll gently over each one and pat it down. Are you ready? You get the edge there, don't worry about it. Down. Remember I said hand between each one? Between each one, and you're rolling over each one. Put it down a little bit over each one. And we're down to the end here. We trim off the excess, and we put this in here to keep it moist. Now, here's where you have to give TLC to each ravioli. You want to wrap the top layer over the little pie, they say. You squeeze it, get the air out of it, and you press down. You're pressing the 2 pieces of dough together. Pressing it together. And try and get as much of the air out as possible. And my theory is that that helps prevent them from breaking open when they reach the boiling water. Ah, it's hot.
Dough's hot?
No, like when they put lobsters and crabs in boiling water, it's hot. Well, raviolis have feeling too, I guess. Okay, we're doing each one. We're patting it down. Go ahead and stop the tape now, and then we'll finish this. Okay, there we go. Alright, I went through and patted each one individually. So I'm going to go through again and pat it down where it looks like it didn't quite take the first time. You're fusing the 2 pieces of dough together. Okay. That's the best we're going to be able to get it. Get the crimping end. Simply not too close to the ravioli. And I had to flip this down, bend this down, because when I was cutting the raviolis, it would just nick the top of the ravioli and cause it to split open when you cook it. So simply take it, you press down, and you press it on wood, you're getting a good seal. That. And because no filling oozed out, we could recycle that. And then do the same thing with the other side. This is providing the seal. Remember, press down on the wood. And okay, and you get this, the end cup, and run this right in the middle. Be careful you don't nick the ravioli. Okay, and we get this, and we have good dough. Now, next stage is get the spatula. Be careful you don't disturb the bottom, and it'll stick to the board a bit because you were pressing down on this. Put it on the floured portion. This is good. You don't need much flour. And you can see
Let's see here.
on the bottom. That's good. It feels great. Real
Show
good.
that again. Oops.
Got away.
We
Rolled
will
away.
wobble. Cool.
Okay, good there. Now, because you don't want too much dough, get your crimper again and just cut across on an angle the ends. You see how it slides nice? And you save these little ends, and you could eat them by themselves or recycle them, whatever. You have to look at each one. And you do this because you don't want all dough. They are ravioli, they are filled with a filling, and that's what you're going after. You don't want to get too close. And some of these, you see, they're different. So each one is individual. Okay, a couple more here. Okay, I already pre-floured my board to set them on. Okay, now you simply get this and you line them up. Remember, we made we're one shy. We'll keep this open for the second batch when we make a 12 on a board. If you want to put 10, you want to put 9, cool. You know, whatever works. You make them too big, you don't fit that many. Alright, that's it. We have one shy dozen of raviolis. You could cook these now. But when you cook them, it only takes you about 3 or 4 minutes to cook these because it's all fresh dough. They don't have to thaw out. Cook very fast. They start to float. About 2 minutes, 3 minutes after they start to float, get them out. Otherwise, they will break open. You use regular flour, all-purpose flour, they'll break open faster. Okay. Now all this is still recyclable dough. There's no filling mixed with it. I'm going to put this aside though, and I'll show you later on the difference of what happens when you let dough set aside too much. Okay, that's the first dozen, so I guess we can go on, Dave, and make the second batch. Okay, now this next process is this is just a I missed my
There's David. See how different they are? See how different they are?
okay, as far as you know, if you're not going to eat these right away, here's what I do. Regular wax paper, get a strip of wax paper, you put it over the raviolis. If you wanted to sprinkle some flour on top of it, that's fine too, but that's the purpose of the flour so it doesn't stick. Now, these will go in a freezer, and I use 2 sheets of Reynolds wrap. I normally go around one way, come across the bottom here, like that, and very carefully. I don't push down on them. Go out that way, and the second sheet goes 90 degrees against it. And the thing is to keep the air out. If you could find the edge of the board. Once you find it, good. Get it very carefully. Don't push down. Just what you want to do is just seal it off. Okay. I'll be a little stubborn with it for some reason. Alright. Now with this, you put it in the freezer. You put it on its own shelf. The second tray does not go on top of the first tray, because until these are frozen, you put a second tray on top of the first or something on the first, they squish down. And you don't want to squish down raviolis. So you put it in the freezer. After a day, what you can do is take the tin foil off and you can put them in a freezer bag. This saves you on your storage space. I've done that and that works out quite well. So let them freeze good and you take them off the little wooden tray, put them in a freezer bag, and then use them as you like. So that's it. We're ready for another batch, huh? We'll put these, do you want to have these for lunch or what do you want to do?
You could try some for lunch. Have a fresh batch.
Well, actually, we'll put these in the freezer, and we'll have some more. Make the last ones our lunch. And we got plenty. We're gonna make another dozen, maybe a dozen and a half out of this recipe. Okay? Are you gonna get that? Okay.
Yeah.
Set up your freezer space ahead of time, so you can have different levels. And if you're like me, you're going to need maybe 7 areas, 7 different levels. We have another freezer out in the garage, so we're very fortunate. And that's it. You close the door. And like I say, tomorrow, if you want to transfer it to freezer bags, fine. But you don't want to get freezer burn on them. Normally, you do this once or twice a year. They don't stay in the freezer that long. They shouldn't anyway. But it's especially dinner, or lunch, or breakfast, whatever you want to have them for. Sometimes you put flour on top and put the wax paper over it. It's just so they don't stick together. If you put them close together and they touch, you might wind up with one big ravioli. Which is okay, I guess. All right, we're all set to do another batch, right?
Right. I'm going to bring Chris in here.
Okay, Chris.
Alrighty.
Okay, we all set. We're in production. I guess your red light is on. Read it in pasta book one time. You can never use too much water to boil pasta.
1:30, but
So
it's more like
we have
1:45 to
pan of boiling water.
12:45.
What we're going to do is we have our colander ready to strain it with. Get it ready. We have a bowl to put it in.
No better than the world.
And we're going to put one tray in the water. You put them in, they start to float, they're just about done. Water is hot, very tenderly. Make sure you don't touch the water because you will get burned. And if you want to be daring, you can sort of slide them off. Remember, this is fresh pasta.
He's been wanting to do this for a long time. So.
And we have 2 extra here. That's it.
See, I didn't realize they were going to do that.
They seem to float right away, so the one Steve just made. Cover it up.
Oh, he's so good.
Be careful, watch your time, and we'll let it cook, and then we'll start the tape up again when we drain it, since we're running short on tape.
Alrighty.
Check the pasta. You see they're still holding together very well. None have broken. You get in there and whip it around, they will break. Treat them gently. When they all start to float, and that's it. They're doing very good. They've only been in the water for about 2 minutes now, and you can see it already. Fresh pasta doesn't take much to cook. That's it. Okay, there's 2 ways of working. Is it working?
Yeah.
2 ways of working is you could dip one out individually and put it in a colander, or you could dump it in the colander. We're going to go ahead and dump it in the colander.
Colander.
Okay, we drained the raviolis. They're in a colander. Not one has broken. We're just going to simply, you can either do it individually or slide it off like that. Okay. Go ahead and put your pasta sauce over it. I always do it in 2 stages to make sure you use plenty of pasta. And there you go. Sometimes they are upside down. And These were great. We did not have any, not a one broken one. That's a record. You cook them too long, they will break. Okay, here we go.